What's going on, traders? Welcome back to day 19. I want to walk you through my scalp this morning, if you want to call it a scalp, making $670 on just one simple short, playing with the VWAP as always, and this is all broken down strategy-wise on NY VWAP. So let's take a look at that in a second. But let's go through the markup of the trade, where you can see my entries and exits. It's a short off of New York VWAP. Now, if you're returning to my videos, you've probably seen trades that look similar to this, that I want to be short around this black VWAP, which is anchored from the 930. New York Open. I don't want to be chasing drift away from there, right? Because I know eventually he probably wants to return there, right? So if you don't get an entry there, you got to wait. Now, one thing that many people have questions on in DMs about is this blue VWAP, which is previous days New York. So it's anchored to the previous days, 930, and this one's from today's. So it definitely could be looking like a level of support. No doubt about that. We don't have full VWAP alignment for shorts. That's for sure. So that's where it comes in of you have to be willing to lose. You're not going to know if this is going to fall lower. You're playing probabilities saying if this moves lower from here, I want to be short around New York. It's been nothing but sellers since the open. We could take a look at the 15-minute in just a second. We're below the overnight VWAP, which is from the changeover of day. It's somewhere up here, right? So we are still below more VWAPs than not. So we'll take a look at that in a second. But let's just walk through the breakdown because you can see it doesn't leave immediately. Now, I don't want to chase the first break of opening range low. That's right here. I preach that heavily in Futures 2.0, which is the full VWAP strategy I'm referring to on ASFX TV. You guys could all get a free month for your first month if you click the link down below and use code FIRST. I want to try to maybe get the second one. It's a little bit more likely to want to run than this first one here, right? Think about all the amateurs that try to chase that breakout and immediately get stopped out, or they're just in the wrong direction. So we don't want to be joining them. We want to wait, be patient for the pullback afterwards. We see sellers defend that VWAP. Okay, great. I knew I wanted to be a seller back here. It's just not the time to sell it. So seeing sellers defend, maybe now's the time. Stop loss will never, ever be at current structure. That means the previous or most current lower high in this situation. And you definitely could argue that previous is way up here at open range high. And on ES, I think that is definitely the smart play. And even on this one, right? But you want to give it room to play around with the New York VWAP. I mean, imagine if you had a stop loss right at that current structure. It might survive, but you're going to be sweating a lot more, stressing a lot more, closer to a full loss, which may induce you to switch your bias, get out of the trade early, question yourself, all these different things, right? But when I have an 86-point stop, now maybe 40 points in drawdown, I'm fine. We're still okay. We're not down that much. We're still looking good. We're at VWAP. Let me give this time. But if this breaks higher, okay, let me question the shorts, right? It's too early here to not like the shorts. That's why you want to give that stop loss some room. Now, I say it all the time, that price is what pays. I'm not trying to time the market perfectly. Well, I guess I'm trying to, but it's just not what I'm expecting to happen every single time. That if you just look at this open range low, where does price eventually leave from? Right here. I had the right price, the exact price where we really started to gain momentum. Obviously, I wanted it to happen right when I got in, and many times it will do that. But on the off chance that it doesn't, I have a stop loss to still stick me in the trade until I'm wrong, right? Because I'm not wrong just because we're holding lower high on New York, lower high, lower high. Sellers keep defending it. I need to sit through this until we get new information. And again, the support of previous days New York VWAP can definitely scare you out of it. That's just where you have to be willing to lose. If you eventually do hold this previous days New York VWAP, the blue one, as support, and we start moving higher, I think you guys all have the ability to then switch your bias and jump into longs, right? With the structure, with the VWAP, of course, but I'm willing to lose. Figure out if the shorts are going to hold in today because we're looking so bearish. And if I'm wrong, I'll look for longs. So let's go back over to this 15-minute. I guess 1 second on this one will be, I also like to trade back to structure. So last thing on this one, that structure being this low of day, right? So when we get a strong flush like this, like 5-6 candles all in the same direction, especially after sitting through like 40 minutes of sideways, I'm going to take that because markets move in waves. It's probably going to pull back at some point. And so if it wants to do that, I could always get back in. But now let's look at the charts here. You can see quite a nice little move. But definitely if we rewind it here and look at it as, I don't know, let's just go with that candle. That if it breaks one more bar higher and we're above New York, it's very tough to say, yeah, there's definitely support down here. We're going to make our higher low from here. Sellers are really struggling. Let's move back higher. Again, if that were to happen, we'll just long it later on. But like I said on this 15-minute, looking at the overnight VWAP, the New York, I think also context matters. That's why I use the week. This is on a Wednesday. If you look at since Tuesday and Monday and just even the previous week, this is where we're at. This was our pre-market here. Higher highs and higher lows. So I came into the open. If we could slow around here, I want to find longs back up because the trend looks bullish from yesterday down here, higher highs and higher lows. Let's continue that. But when sellers step in like this right at the open, cut through that VWAP, yes, right to this previous days in New York where we were saying it could be a higher low. Not ruling that out of the question, especially when you see it slowing. If it were to move higher, you wouldn't be too surprised. You would just have to pivot, try to recover your loss. Not the end of the world. But I'm reading it as we just flushed underneath the overnight VWAP. It's all sellers since the open. Stocks are moving lower. This might just keep going lower. This doesn't have to hold the VWAP, even though it could. It doesn't have to. So let me just try the shorts, and if I'm wrong, I'll listen to the longs again and maybe make my money back that way, right? Because I'm not saying it's a perfect trade. The New York VWAP is, but ideally, yes, this VWAP's not in our way. Something also to look at, I think it was this exact Monday of the same week. Let's throw on the overnight VWAP that day. Bullish bias coming into the day. Higher highs and higher lows overnight. We cut right through that overnight VWAP, right at 9:30, right here, right? So I had a bullish bias. Open comes in all sellers. Never mind. Let me react to the new information that we're not above VWAPs anymore. And even more so here, when we pulled back, I shorted it off of there because we're underneath it. Now making lower high, lower low, lower high, all these different things, right? So I think just reading, reacting to the week, when you zoom out, I'm like, all right, could we fall from here? Well, looking back on Thursday, Friday, Monday, this is our lower high, right? So I thought maybe we'd bounce here and move back higher, and you definitely could have if you clean all these VWAPs off. But it was really just our next lower high to then go form the next lower low of this short-term little bearish trend we're having, right? So I think just keeping that in mind of, yeah, we definitely could be sellers because it kind of has been the last few days. But I think the most important thing, you'll also look at ES because that's what people were trading on stream as well. It's not bad. You can see it goes above New York VWAP even a little bit more. So even more reason maybe people would chase the longs. But again, sticking with that bias. But let's just play the shorts as well, right? Some people I think were short early as here, which isn't a bad play. Current structure would be right there. Not the place to put a stop loss. Been over that already. Current structure right here. Previous structure, you want to be out if this makes a new high a day. There's no doubt because now you're holding those two VWAPs and we're breaking for a higher high. Get out. So with this, that's why you do want your stop loss at the high. And same thing, like I'm saying, it never really threatens it, right? It doesn't even go more than halfway through your stop loss for a drawdown. So you're fine because every time buyers try to take it, sellers take it back. Buyers try, sellers take it, sellers take it, sellers take it, and we finally move lower. So that's why the worst thing to do would be getting stopped out early, having to get back in, maybe losing that one, now wanting to jump into the longs because you're saying, oh my God, we're going higher. And you took like 2 or 3 losses when nothing really has changed. That's why a stop loss needs to be at a place where something is changing. If nothing's changing, keep me in the trade. I know this doesn't look great above New York VWAP, right? This pullback here, but it's not new information that, oh, we're breaking for a new high, get me out, right? So that's how you guys start thinking about your trades and where your stop loss should go. I teach you all of it. Like I said on AceFX TV here, I give you stop loss placement, take profit, where to put your VWAPs. So go get free access to that on your first month. But it's really the make or break, I feel, for a lot of traders that they get in and they're out before things are truly invalidated. So they'll be short. They'll see this go heavy into the drawdown and take out this structure and say, oh God, I'm not confident. I'm going to switch. That wasn't part of the rules. That wasn't the plan, right? And now maybe they got to get back short later. It's just too all over the place, not keeping it simple. Be willing to lose, right? Saying, I know this doesn't look great, but it's not wrong until it makes a new high. And then ideally, you have the patience and you get rewarded for it with your new lower low that you thought might come in. So nice little day. I don't know why I called it a scalp. It was 10 o'clock to like 10:35, so not terrible, 35 minutes. But ideally, we don't go through this chop, but when we do, it also helps when it's cleanly respecting New York like NQ was today. So I wasn't really concerned because we kept holding this VWAP. Now, if we were chopping up here, could be a different story, but we're holding underneath VWAP. Let's let it ride. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you check out the top 1 sale as well if you need this. I'm trading on Tradeovate now with top 1 futures as we're all going to have to in the new year. So if you need an account with them, I got a discount for you down below. Check them out. You can copy trade multiple accounts. But other than that, I'll see you guys on stream tomorrow morning. First month, use code FIRST. Let's get after it.